Hi guys, it's Wednesday night again. It's 7:30. That means it's Kingdom Comics Live. It's that time again. As usual, I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to bring in my guest. This week's guest is a friend of the shop and local legend, Daniel Blason. Standing here. So we're going to bring him in right now. Welcome, Daniel. You're muted. I've muted you.
Oh, thanks for having me. Local legend.
Local legend. Yeah, I know you're a local legend. You're part of the sports team. You're a youth worker. You're, one of the core retail guys. You're local legend. I think sounds about right. No.
Yeah, I'll take it.
As always, guys, feel free to put some comments, post some questions, do anything like that. We'll try and address any questions, comments, etc. as we go along. Daniel, how have you been?
I'm all right. Surviving like everyone else during this time of boredom.
Yeah. At least you've had comics and games and things like that to keep you occupied.
That's true.
That's the best thing. So we'll get straight into it and I'll ask you the first question that I ask every comic fan as soon as they come in. What was your gateway comic? What was the comic that got you into the hobby and started you down this road?
This one.
Batman. Now that you pulled it out, if you'd said to me what was Daniel's comic going to be, I would have said it was probably going to be a Batman issue of some sort.
Yeah. So this is one of these ones where I collected different issues of various comics in one. Mm-hmm. So that was the first one I ever got from my dad's, all the way back in September 2004.
Lovely. Is this one of these like the Panini collected editions that you pick up at W. Smith's or something like that?
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those.
2004, 17 years ago. You would only have been 10?
12.
9? 12?
12.
Okay. Fair enough. So, Batman's a predictable choice for you. I know that you still, to this day, you buy all the Batman issues, like Batman Beyond, Batman of the Future, Detective Comics. Batman's your man, and I know.
Yeah.
So that's a predictable one.
And if you're to believe my parents, which I honestly do with this, apparently Batman was my first word. So.
Okay. See, that would be more impressive. See if Batman had been your second word, and your first word had been "I am."
Oh, that would be
awesome.
More impressive and more fun. According to my parents, Batman.
I'm Batman. What did the baby say? That would be awesome.
According to my parents, Batman was my first word, so got to stick with the trend.
Absolutely. So you're a big Batman fan. Who's your favourite Batman? Who's your favourite screen Batman then? Is it Keaton? Was it Affleck? Was it George Clooney?
Oh no,
not Clooney.
Clooney was never Batman.
That's true. That's the movie that never happened. You're right.
Yeah. I would have to say favorite Batman is Bale. Mm-hmm. Favorite Bruce Wayne is Val Kilmer though. It was just a better Bruce Wayne in my opinion.
Okay, it's very, very smooth. Rich man, I think. Christian Bale was in my favorite Batman movies. The problem I have, I've said this before, probably yourself, but Christian Bale's too small to be Batman. Christian Bale's 5'10", which is smaller than you. It's about the same size as me.
Yeah.
And I just think, he just didn't have the look of the part of Batman. Neither did Michael Keaton, who's probably one of my favourites as well, and I thought he was excellent.
Yeah. No, that's very true.
The best one in terms of looks for me has been Ben Affleck. He's 6'3", 6'4". He's built for it. He looks like the Arkham Knight Batman.
Things I've got Ben Affleck more as the Dark Knight Returns Bruce, that sort of
slightly older, things like that. Ian saying Keaton is the Batman, but Patterson looks to be interesting.
True, I forgot about Patterson.
Yeah, well, we've not seen him yet, so it's hard to.
Yeah, just trailers we've seen.
I did love Keaton as Batman. I thought he was that sort of slightly mad turn that he had. And
Yeah.
again, he was another one who was too small, and the problems he had with his suit as well. He wasn't able to move his neck and,
No.
and things like that.
Yeah.
It's so obvious looking back on it now how constricting it was.
Yeah, but that was the same with all the late 80s, 90s Batman suits that none of them could turn their heads.
There was only Keaton. I thought we decided that. Oh no, there was also Val Kilmer.
Yeah.
And then they stopped.
Yeah, after Batman Forever, we went to Batman Begins.
Yeah. I that's fair enough. That's totally true. Pattinson does look. It's going to be a good. It's going to be a movie, but I don't think there's any doubt at all that I'm going to see that movie. Probably, maybe not opening night, but certainly opening week.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to see it at some point because of the name.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. It's like, I mean, did you watch Joker? Have you seen Joker?
No, I haven't seen that. It's for me. I didn't go near Joker because you can't have Joker without the bat. Same with like Catwoman. I haven't seen Catwoman because you can't have the cat without the bat.
If it's a like a thingy story, what do you call it? A new, what's the word I'm looking for?
You take?
Yeah, a new origin story for the Joker. So you didn't necessarily have to have them there. Jamie was at school with me, so we grew up with Adam West. Adam West was the only live action Joker until, I was in teenagers. Actually, that's not true. I think there was one in the 1940s or 50s black and white Batman.
Yes, there was.
But I've never seen it. But the 1940s black and white Shazam, Captain Marvel, is awesome. You can find it on YouTube. Get in there. I think Adam West, it was a slightly different take. It was a very much a take of the 60s. It was a
very happy take compared to what we have now.
Yeah. And it's very derivative and something like everything that's been done since then. Without the Adam West Joker, you wouldn't have had Jack Nicholson's Joker because it was very much based on
definitely
that Joker. So, yeah. Okay, we'll hang away from Batman though. We'll no doubt come back to Batman later on because when we're talking about movies, obviously we want to talk about your take on the Snyder Cut and things like that. What's your top 3 comics? What's your favourite comics? Favourite runs? Favourite, things like this.
Oh, if we're going just by graphic novels, it would be trades and graphic novels. It would be. Let me have a check over my stuff here. Definitely, top one is Hush. Batman Hush is.
Okay. Yep.
It's one of the first things I've read.
A lot of rumours that the Pattinson one is potentially the bad guy. Is going to be something involved from the Hush storyline. I don't want to give too much away, but
yeah. Well, things I haven't had Hush in any of the films yet.
Yeah, to be completely new character for most people.
I have to go with the Arkham Asylum comic as well.
Okay,
because
another
that's
Batman one.
It happens.
It is, yeah. We had Dave McKean. I do another podcast, and we had Dave McKean on that podcast a few weeks ago, and it's awesome.
And lastly, would be the Justice run. So it's 3 graphic novels telling a story of. It's been a while since I read it, but it's all pretty much Justice League are figuring out what's going on because all the villains are suddenly doing good deeds, and it's really weird. But it turns out it's a whole master plan for them to take over the world. Shock horror! The Legion of Doom are taking over the world.
Okay.
But it's one of these things. But it's really well done, and they use the metal men to create special suits to stop the bad guys. So like they put Captain Marvel in a lead suit in lead to make him look like Superman, so everyone goes for him instead, and it works really well. It's a really good book, and it's drawn by arts by Alex Ross as well. So
I was going to say that's an Alex Ross book, isn't it? So
yeah, because that was the first Alex Ross book I had as well that drew me to his artwork.
Okay, so you had that before, like Kingdom Come, or Marvels.
Yeah.
I mean, Alex Ross. Again, if I've not mentioned it already on the podcast, Alex Ross, I think, is he's the best artist working in covers. Certainly the best cover artist. He doesn't do enough full comic work.
No,
it takes him so long to do it.
Yeah, he paints everything, so it takes a while.
Yeah. So I'll just bring this in here. Just for those of you who maybe aren't aware. So this is the spread from one of these things. I don't know if this is from Kingdom Come or Justice.
That looks like Kingdom Come. Because Justice is all the... Yeah, that's Kingdom Come, because you've got Old Man Soups there with the red S and the black.
That's right, at the back there. Alex Ross is just a phenomenal talent. I think. Hold on a second, somebody's... Switch off notifications on my phone. That's a very good call. Obviously, two great Batman books, and one of the best DC books of the last 20 years. All Alex Ross stuff. If people are watching, if you've not read Justice or Kingdom Come, or if you're a Marvel fan, if you haven't read, is it Marvels that he was? He's running that.
That's a fantastic book.
It's just so beautifully drawn and tells the story of the entire Marvel universe right from its offset again.
Yeah.
Ian's going for Dark Knight Returns, Hush, and the Three Jokers. Is that the recent Three Jokers run? The Tower of Babel should be joint that if I squeeze two in one place. It's all about Batman for me. People have their favourite characters, obviously. For a lot of people, it's Batman. For people who are maybe slightly more discerning, it's Captain Marvel.
But you keep complaining about Captain Marvel, saying that she's not real Captain Marvel.
That's not real Captain Marvel. You know who I'm talking about.
Why is she your favourite?
If you keep complaining about her. Back Captain Marvel. Actually, I'll go back to the picture there. That's
Shazam.
That's him at the top. That's him at the top left there with the red and things like that. So that's Captain Marvel. Hold on, I'm switching off the internet on my phone so that it stops beeping. And yes, I've actually not read that Three Jokers run yet. I know it was a three-issue run, wasn't it? That was probably in the last box that you picked up. Dan, you might not have gotten around to reading that yet either.
Probably. So, I'm so far behind.
Yeah. It was an interesting one. Did a lot of good stuff with Batman. Batman's. If I had to go with Batman runs, I think for me it would be possibly a Long Halloween.
Long Halloween's a good read.
Good one. What's the one? Oh dear. What's the one they spend when Gotham's locked down for a year?
There's Year One.
No.
There's
the one. What was it called? Gotham. They basically, it's like they do in the movies. They take down they close up all the accesses to Gotham and basically just abandon it and leave it. I think it might have been part of the Grant Morrison's run.
0 Year. There was another one where they did that. That was like shortly after Batman starts, and
Cataclysm. Was that Cataclysm?
There's so many Batman titles I don't know.
Ian's nailed it.
Yeah.
No Man's Land.
I was going to say there's a HeroClix set with the same name, or a mini set with the same name.
Yeah. Aye. No Man's Land. That was the right one. I think it was heavily influenced the third Batman movie where they closed off Gotham completely.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
Batman wasn't even in No Man's Land for much of it. I think he was recovering from the broken back, and that was when the next Batgirl took over, things like that. So, yeah, great run back in the day. So, what are you reading at the moment? Are you reading anything interesting at the moment?
At the moment,
I know your local comic shop's been closed for a considerable length of time. So.
Yeah, but things I've been reading have been Justice League, so I'm still finishing off that Year of the Villain stuff. Oblivion Songs I've been reading a lot of, been catching up on that, which is fantastic.
I've been raving recently. Robert Kirkman's output. He did Outcast, and at the same time as he was doing Walking Dead, at the same time as he was doing Invincible, and he's just segued completely into that, and he's now doing Oblivion Song. He's such a talented guy. Just amazing. You end up saying the No Man's Land has a written book version better than the graphic novel. I'd be tempted to pick that up. But yeah, so Cataclysm came just before No Man's Land, apparently. I think Cataclysm led into No Man's Land.
Possibly.
Gotham went to shit, in no one's things, and the federal government decided just to call it a day and pull out and leave it to the bad guys. Similar to what they did in Arkham Knight.
Yeah.
I suppose.
That's a good game.
That is a good game. Again, during lockdown, I've been putting in a few more hours into Arkham Knight. It helped that Epic gave it away for free on PC a couple of months ago. To get people to sign up for an Epic account, they gave away 6 Batman games. They gave away all the 3 Arkham ones, plus the Lego ones, which was just awesome. Ian saying he stands corrected. It's always the forgotten one because No Man's Land was epic. No Man's Land was epic. I forget who the character was introduced. Was it Spoiler? Was it?
Possibly.
Helena Wayne was in it, and there was a different Batgirl.
There's Cassandra Cain, who was Batgirl back in the early 2000s.
Right.
So she was Batgirl for a bit.
Mm-hmm. I'll have to go back and read some of them again, I think.
Oh, definitely.
Mm-hmm. I did actually have a couple of comics. I was supposed to bring a comic home today that I was going to talk about, because I like to promote comics from local writers, and it doesn't get any more local than this. The guy who lives above the shop, guy called Craig, has done a comic, and I was supposed to bring it home tonight so that I could do a quick review and try and get you guys interested in it. But I've forgotten it and I've left the issue in the shop. So apologies to people who are watching. It'll be on my show tomorrow. My shared show, The Brewgooders, tomorrow, and I'll be talking about it again next week. Love to see local guys getting involved in the comic industry. It's not as difficult as it used to be to get involved in comics, creating comics. You can kickstart them, you can make them yourself. Yeah. So,
it's just getting the audience is the tough part. But
yes, aye. That's why you try and push them on your friends. Tell your friends, everybody share it. Like and share.
I mean, if the guy lives above the shop, I'll give it a read.
It's very more than decent. I said to him, he gave me a sort of a spoiler copy so that I could give him some feedback and stuff like this. And I said to him, it's the type of thing that if it had come in and it had been marked as an Image comic, I wouldn't have been surprised. It's exactly their sort of cup of tea.
That's good.
Sort of thing they do. This guy's going to be a huge talent, and I've got a first print of his first comic. So,
get it signed, get it framed.
I'm going to make him huge. I've got a CGC account now set up. I'm starting to send stuff. I've got a big stack of stuff here to send away to CGC Comics, which I'll go through at some point if anybody's interested to know what I'm sending to get graded.
Oh, don't do that to me.
Including some very nice Justice League variant covers, black and white variant covers.
Don't do that to me, man.
Peach Momoko variant, new Harley Quinn. I've got some great stuff. Yeah, CGC, that's it. I'll just be taking all your money.
Oh, definitely. It's not like you don't do that anyway.
You've nothing else to spend it on. We've none of us have got anything new to spend it on now anyway. So that's comics. Like I said, I knew you were going to be heavy DC. I know you did. Everything.
I'm undoubtedly biased towards DC.
Yeah,
but
you're spot on. I think DC, of the superhero stuff, DC are putting out better stuff at the moment, I would say.
They're putting out more stuff more consistently with better stories. Marvel are putting out anything that anyone will read, in my opinion.
They put out too many books. I think there's an instance now where, I mean, DC, for a while there, obviously, when they were branding themselves as the new 52, they were putting out 52 books every month, and that was pushing it a wee bit. I think now they're averaging somewhere between 40 and 45, and the quality, I think, is slightly better.
No, definitely.
Marvel habitually are putting out 60 plus books every month.
About half of them are Deadpool, a quarter of them are Wolverine, and the other quarter is anything else.
It's whatever's going to movies or things like that at that time. When Guardians of the Galaxy came out, there was a new Guardians of the Galaxy comic, plus a new Groot one, plus a new Gamora one, plus a new Star-Lord one, plus Rocket Raccoon, plus so you would have 4 or 5 different titles.
No doubt, Black Widow's going to get at least 5 different books.
Yeah, I would imagine so. You'll get Black Widow plus the Black Widow squad, Red Guardian, I'd be very surprised if they didn't do something with Red Guardian.
That's true.
Which works for me. So, I take it you're up to date with all the Marvel shows. Falcon and Winter Soldier. And,
yeah.
Okay. Yep. Talk about the obvious. How awesome was WandaVision?
That was brilliant.
It's brilliant.
It did not. I was watching with my brother, and every time we're going, it's over. But it just started. How can it be finished already? Just the episodes did not feel longer. They're only half an hour, but it felt so much shorter. But it's such a good story overall.
Did you get the frustration that I got sometimes where you were checking to see how long it had to go, and it was like marked as like 39 minutes, but it would end after 31 because the credits were so long, and you thought you still had loads to go.
No, we never did that. We would just watch it, and then suddenly it would be credits, and like, what? It just started. How is the episode finished already?
Yeah. I think it was 9 episodes or 10 episodes or something like that. I mean, it was equivalent of a 3-hour movie. It was genius. I think.
It was genius. Really well done. I'm looking forward to see what they do with her and Doctor Strange, and what they do with White Vision, as I'll call them, until he changes colour.
Well, I've got a couple of theories. But yeah, the White Vision is obviously. I don't know if you were a comic fan back in the time when this was all about, but the characters that they're introducing now, there's huge West Coast Avengers attachments to them. The new Captain America and the girl who's the bad guy, or one of the bad guys in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier and things like this. They're all people that were involved in, and White Vision, obviously.
Yeah.
Him becoming White Vision was all covered in West Coast Avengers. So
there's also lots of build up for Young Avengers as well. Because there's Cassie Lang, all grown up now. You've got Hawkeye's daughter. The twins have shown up. And so has Patriot. So it's just a matter of time before they give us Young Avengers.
Yeah, only a matter of time. I think Patriot's the girl in Falcon and Winter Soldier, isn't it?
Patriot is the old man's grandson.
Oh, of course, Isaiah Bradley's grandson.
Yeah, I forgot the character's name there.
Yeah. Cannot wait for Doctor Strange 2. Most looking forward to Loki.
Loki.
Yeah, the Loki trailer just dropped a couple of days ago.
Yeah, it looks good.
It does look very, very good. I think Tom Hiddleston he's so watchable on anything on screen. He's an absolute genius. Hiddleston for Bond. You heard it here first.
No, the thing is, he can't do Bond.
Of course he can.
He's been typecast as a bad guy. He'll be a Bond villain, but he'll never be Bond.
If you watch The Night Manager, he did a show called The Night Manager based on a Le Carre novel for the BBC, and it was absolutely brilliant. And yeah, he can totally play the good guy. He's one of only 2 people I'll accept in the role. The other one being Fassbender. I think if they look beyond those 2, they're just not even serious about it. But Tom Hiddleston is the next Bond.
We'll see.
Doctor Strange 2, I am very much looking forward to. But before that, the movie I'm most looking forward to, obviously Black Widow, but Spider-Man.
That's going to be interesting to see what they do and see what happens.
Spider-Man. Charlie Cox has shot in some scenes as Matt Murdock, which is absolutely what I see. If they can bring him back, they can bring back Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin and just
so good.
Make my life complete. And Doctor Strange 2 Multiverse of Madness, I think it's called. Obviously that I think is going to. There's all sorts of rumours, all sorts of theories and stuff like this. This is how they're going to bring in the X-Men. This is how they're going to manage to hide Spider-Man. He's been outed, obviously, as Peter Parker.
Yeah, they'll find a way to fix that.
Yeah. Well, an easy way is to have, one of the, Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield unmask as Spider-Man during the movie and go, I'm not Peter Parker, what the hell are you talking about? And then swing away.
Yeah.
That would totally work. Again, if that happens in the movie, this is live. You heard it here first. So there's so much good stuff. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I'm absolutely loving.
Oh, it's a really good show. Again, that's another one that doesn't feel 50 minutes. It feels the episodes are a lot shorter, and it's just so good. so well paced.
It's a completely different thing as well from Wanda. It feels more like Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
that kind of Cold
it's
War
a spy thriller buddy cop.
Yeah, which absolutely works because the two main characters, Sebastian Stan and Andrew Mackie, work well together.
Oh yeah.
Again, can't wait for Spider-Man, but is it worth having Tobey Maguire back? Tobey Maguire was an excellent Spider-Man, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Tobey Maguire's only bad part was 3 when he was infected with the symbiote.
When it was the dancing scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once you got rid of the symbiote, well, before you got the symbiote and once you got rid of it, he was fine. It's during that symbiote bit in the middle that's a bit.
I think that there hasn't been a bad screen Spider-Man. I think he was great. I thought Andrew Maguire was brilliant in the first movie he did. The second movie, the writing wasn't great, and that's why we didn't get a third one. But I thought he was brilliant.
Yeah.
I love Tom Holland. Is it?
Yeah, Tom Holland.
I love Tom Holland. He's the first one for me who looks like Peter Parker.
Yeah, he's also the one closest to the age of actual Peter Parker.
Yes. Andrew. Garfield was
30 something.
He was 30 something playing 18,
Yeah.
and Tobey Maguire was pretty much similar. This is. Yeah, I'm quite happy to see Tobey Maguire coming back. If they do something along the lines of Into the Spider-Verse, which was an absolutely brilliant movie.
Oh, Spider-Verse is really good.
Yeah, do something along the lines of that, where you've got multiple Spider-Men. Bring in Spider-Gwen, bring Gwen Stacy back. Jamie's talking about Nicholas Gammond. Was it no Hammond? But yeah, he was brilliant. Yeah, he's thinking that to Hammond. This might not mean much to most people, but during the sort of very early 1980s, there was a very short-lived one season, I think, Spider-Man TV show. They were trying to recapture the success of the Incredible Hulk TV show, which was brilliant for the time. It never quite worked with Spider-Man. But yeah, Nicholas Hammond. It wouldn't surprise me if Nicholas Hammond came back and had a role if he's still alive. Justice League managed to squeeze in Christopher Reeve's Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen as the policeman that nearly gets hit by a car.
Yeah.
So that's the guy who played Jimmy Olsen in Christopher Reeve's Superman movies. Superhero movies have got a tendency to bring back the actors from previous roles and have them in.
Well, they did that a lot with the Crisis Infinite Earths, with the Arrowverse shows. They did that.
Yeah, even just like if you look at Supergirl, the show right from the start, her earthly parents was Dean Cain, who'd been Superman, and Helen Slater. Was it Helen Slater? Again, I've got the internet here so I can check.
Yeah, because she was Supergirl as well, which
who had been Supergirl, and Helen Slater, it was right. Who had been Supergirl, and actually one of the Helen Slater was an absolutely brilliant Supergirl back in the 1980s. She absolutely looked apart. Can't do this anymore. So yeah, and similarly in the second Wonder Woman movie there, which I don't know if you've seen it, but there's a brief cameo for Linda Carter.
Oh, that's cool.
And she was also in Crisis in she was also in Supergirl, wasn't she? She plays the mayor or something. Something like that. So yeah, I mean, there's a long history, even going back as far as Smallville. Christopher Reeve and Margot Kidder both appeared in Smallville. They do use actors all the time.
Yeah, well, that's way of paying homage to those that came before by bringing them in and still showing some love to them. Not just use them and forget about them.
Yeah, and they've done it for always. I think 1978 Superman movie with Christopher Reeve had a brief scene with the woman who had been the original on-screen Lois Lane back in the 1950s to Kirk Allen. So yeah, long may it continue. Jamie's heard a rumour that Japanese Spider-Man might show too. This was Spider-Man, isn't it?
Right.
Which is another very weird thing.
I don't really matter who shows up. If Spider-Ham shows up, I don't. It should win every award when award season comes around.
Oh, definitely. And I think, if Spider-Man Noir as well, and definitely get Nick Cage, to play him.
The one thing I would really love to see live action would be Spider-Man and Deadpool together, like Tom Holland Spider-Man with Ryan Reynolds Deadpool. I think would work really well.
Who's to say it won't happen? I mean, it's because obviously Spider-Man's still owned by Sony, technically, even though the movies are now being made by things like this. So you're not sure how many. But then they're obviously doing crossover characters because they've got Charlie Cox in, and they're going to do these more ones. I think that would be brilliant as well.
Especially how much Deadpool loves Spider-Man, I think it'd be funny to see.
Yeah, just have him dress up as Spider-Man, things like that. Try and be him. It would be awesome. Look, very, very much. Still no word on when the next outing for Deadpool is going to be. I know they talked about X-Force, which I know is a comic that you enjoy.
Yeah, X-Force. I really enjoyed X-Force. I know Deadpool 3 has had the go-ahead. I don't know what they're doing with it though, and it's still going to be its 15 rating, or if not toning it down for Disney. So that's a good sign.
That's how. Yeah, I mean, obviously the Disney app recently launched their adult take, some more adult movies, so that you can get plus 15s. Because Disney wouldn't be the best place for Deadpool.
I think Deadpool 2 is on Disney Plus, but Deadpool is still on Netflix.
Deadpool's still on Netflix. It's all down to money.
I thought that was funny.
To anybody who's watching, this is a complete aside, but there's a spin-off of the Mighty Ducks just started last week on Disney, and it's brilliant. It's everything I want. It's the Mighty Ducks does Cobra Kai. That good, and Cobra Kai was.
Cobra Kai is a fantastic show.
Yeah, one of the favourite shows of the entirety of last year was Cobra Kai, and I wait for it to come out every year now and devour it. Game Changers is in fact, that's what it's called. Yeah, I want to see them do the same. You were asking me who they are originally, but no, you're telling me who. Woo. I want them to see them do the same as Cobra Kai and bring in all the actors from the original run, which would be, Joshua Jackson would come in as a character. Eldon Henson, the guy who played Foggy.
Yeah.
He was in the Mighty Ducks. So, yeah, I know, just a boy. I want to see all those guys back in Game Changers. So if you've not been watching it, get on it. It's great.
I will do that once I finish watching Blackish.
Blackish. That's not one that's on my radar, I don't think. I'm binging Justified at the moment.
I just finished binging Scrubs.
Scrubs is excellent. Love Mighty Ducks. Watched the trilogy in one day just so I could see them against each other, and it's like a continuation. It's brilliant. Yeah, because you can catch them all on DC, on Disney Plus now. Watch the entire Mighty Ducks trilogy. Do it. And it's nice to see, everybody coming back and stuff like this. I love that sort of thing. It makes me feel like, as a child of the 80s, it makes me feel really nostalgic, which is exactly what Cobra Kai did. Although Cobra Kai is in a class in its own, I think.
Definitely. It's a fantastically well-written show, and characters are all great.
Yeah. You find yourself, after 30 years, I find myself rooting for Johnny. I can't watch the original movie now without realising what a dick Daniel San was.
Yeah, but
just a
he was the protagonist, so he has to get some love.
Yeah, he gets no love in this household, I'll tell you. So away from comics, away from movies, what have you been doing? You been playing anything interesting? Any new board games? Any new?
No new board games. We started Skyrim for like the umpteenth time.
I hate to think how many. Like I know Steam tells me how many hours I've got in, but that doesn't include the number of hours I've got in on Xbox or PlayStation 4 as well. Yeah, I think I must be 300 or 400 hours.
Oh, it's a long game. It's fun. Yeah,
and the DLCs for it are so good as well, and you can things. There's a full mod now, which is in using the Skyrim. You have to have Skyrim installed to do it, but you can get the mod for free, and it's a completely new adventure, like a 20-hour adventure, using the Skyrim system, but set in a different world. Totally done by the community. I'll see if I can find all the details for it if anybody's interested. And it's just like Nexus. New land, no. Brand new world. Enderal, that was the one. I'm not going to start it playing. But yeah, Enderal. Have a wee look at it. Check it out on YouTube if you're interested. It basically uses the same system. I'm repeating myself now. This must be
I'm used to it.
Yeah, but it's built using the Skyrim system, which I think is it Unity?
I don't know. It's Bethesda's engine, whatever it's called.
Whatever they're using.
Because the same engine they've been using for...
created an entire game using the Skyrim mod system. And yeah, it's genius. So, yeah. So you've been playing Skyrim. I've got hundreds of hours of Skyrim in.
Been playing some Overwatch, because we got the guys and I got into that last lockdown. So we started playing Overwatch then we started watching Overwatch League as well. We watched the professionals play.
Okay. That's a MOBA, isn't it?
No, it's a first-person shooter.
Right. I thought it was like a team.
It's a team first-person shooter, but it's with various characters with all characters' different abilities and powers. Okay. Yeah.
I should maybe give it a go. I've got the with the PC gaming now. I've got I think you get that free on Game Pass, and I think Outriders is one that's come out recently, which I'm quite interested in.
Yeah,
that's a free game on thing. So, Overwatch, Skyrim. That's right.
Enjoyed a good NFL season.
Oh, okay. Your team do well.
Super Bowl champs, man.
Are they? There you go. Fair enough, I forget which teams you all support, because you all support a different team, but
yeah,
your team done it this year.
Yeah. After all the doubters,
I've been trying. You know what? You know me. I don't really care that much about sport. I've been trying to get away from it this year, and it's not been an easy year to be a Liverpool fan. This year, it's not been an easy 24 hours to be a Liverpool fan, if I'm honest. So yeah, I like sport. Nice to see sport coming back. A wee question for Ian there on the topic of board games. I'm looking for a Batman game. Is there any good ones? There's 3 or 4. I know I've got one, which is the Batman miniatures game in the shop, but it's a very pricey game. There is it Escape from Arkham or something like that? Is that?
There is one. I've never played any of the Batman board games, because it's just not what the guys and I would play. We just play whatever we pick up from Kickstarter. So,
if you're looking for a Batman game, though, Ian, you could do worse than getting yourself into HeroClix.
HeroClix is a fantastic game.
Yeah, you can use Batman to fight the Joker. Basically, it's like tabletop chess, but with superheroes. And you can, get your Batman team with all your Nightwing and everything like that, fight the Joker, or fight Gandalf, or fight the Starship Enterprise.
You've got a nice little Bat Knight
from Kingdom Come. Yeah. The figures are pretty nice as well. You can learn to play pretty quickly. And once we're back in a less crazy time in the world, we do have a thriving community of HeroClix players who play every second Thursday at your local gaming shop.
Yeah.
So there is that. But yeah, I mean, like I say, I've got the Batman miniature board game in the shop, Ian, but off the top of my head, I think it's about £150 for the box.
It's worth it just for the box. The boxes look amazing.
Boxes look amazing.
Don't know what the game's like.
The figures in them are awesome. But yeah, I've not actually seen a gameplay. That is sweet. You're saying your models are sweet. HeroClix has got so many different models, and some of them. Some of them are brilliant.
Someone made me clear my stuff out.
Yeah, hundreds and hundreds of figures, and they put new ones out every single month. Yeah, can be quite a cheap hobby to get into as well.
Oh, it's not a cheap hobby at all, but it's fun.
It's not a cheap hobby if you want to buy every single run that comes out and you chase. It's like Pokemon for these guys. They're chasing the variants and the rares, so they can't just buy one set. They've got to buy 10 boxes.
No, I mean, I'm not like that. Doogie's like that.
Because Doogie buys them separately as well and things like that. So.
I've only had to buy separately a couple times.
You'll get a. You'll usually get a set of 10.
Yeah, I mean,
when a new DC set comes out.
Yeah, which I've still haven't played with some of them yet because I've been stuck here.
We've been closed for a year, which is absolutely crazy.
You also get some nice sweet prizes as well when you go around, like Dormammu.
Oh, did you bring that back from Settlers?
Yeah.
Yeah. Chaz, if you're watching, this is my guy who came to your shop and took your prize.
Hey, Doogie took one as well. Doogie won his one. I got mine from a lucky roll.
Oh, brilliant. Clix is brilliant. There's a great community all over the country. You can go up to Perth or over to Hamilton or something like that to play it as well. Looks like a fascinating game. It's not a game I've ever played.
It is a fun game. I mean, one day I'll teach you when we can see each other again.
Yes, aye. When you think of that, it's like Pokemon as well. Trying to my wee boy would call for that. He loves Dormammu. Who doesn't he? Yeah. They did. I don't know if you've seen it. Douglas got one, and this is during lockdown. I had to drop them off at the houses, but Douglas got one and Blair got one. But they got Galactus.
Yeah, they've mentioned it in our group chat.
Massive.
Yeah, they've said.
Just bring that to the table and it takes up the entire table.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing that. So we're playing against that.
Yeah, I'm sure Douglas will bring it along at some point.
Oh, undoubtedly.
And you can play the Secret Wars against them. So, so what else have we been up to? Computer games, Valhalla obviously came out. Yeah. We loved it at Christmas.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
The Vikings, what do you say to the people who say that Assassin's Creed basically just following God of War? Like God of War did their Greek game, and then Assassin's Creed came out a couple of years later. And then they did the Viking game.
People can say what they want, it's their opinions, but it's the different stories. And they have their own different overarching plots.
I'm going to say this, God of War and Valhalla are both great games for me. Anybody who's on the channel, anybody who spoke to me in the shop will know I'm a massive fan. Not as big as Daniel, I've not been playing them as long, but I'm a massive fan of the Assassin's Creed games. And a massive fan of...
I'm a biased fanboy, I will admit that.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed is your game. So. But God of War is
God of War was fantastic.
Possibly the best game that they've created for the PS4. I think Horizon Zero Dawn comes close. But God of War is just, phenomenal. We're not seeing so many. Obviously, the disappointment of things like Cyberpunk. There hasn't been a big release game. Apart from maybe Call of Duty.
Yeah, but I think they're holding off on releases until they can get a better rollout of the current gen consoles, because there's still delays on those, and people are still scalping them. Difficult
to get ones, I suppose. Xbox Game Pass seems to be taking over the world. Like their new game Outriders is out this week, and it's straight to Game Pass. The Microsoft have just purchased Bethesda, and it looks like going forward all Bethesda games will be straight to Game Pass on day one of release.
That's going to be good.
Yeah, so if you've got a PC or if you've got Game Pass, you're not even going to have to buy. What's their space one which is coming out called? It's
I don't remember.
Starfield, I think it's called.
That sounds familiar.
Starfield, I think, is their next game, and then Elder Scrolls 6.
Whenever that is.
Whenever that is, but you're going to get it. Is that finally going to swing the war away from Sony to Xbox? Because
Probably
Sony's still
not.
dominant in the consoles.
It probably won't swing because they'll probably cut a deal for people with PlayStations to get an Elder Scrolls game. Because if not, you're cut pretty much.
I think if you're Microsoft, this is just me spitballing, but
Yeah.
if you're Microsoft and your main competition is Sony and you own the company that makes the Elder Scrolls, why would you license
To get more money?
To them?
If you only have it for your PC and Xbox players, you're cutting off a third, potentially half, if you don't include the Switch as well, of your fan base.
It's such a massive game. They think that people will buy the console. PlayStation owners will buy the Xbox console to play the next Skyrim or
It's
the
a
next
possibility.
Elder Scrolls game.
But if it's purely just going to be on Xbox and PC, I mean, I've got PC, I can get it, no problem. But if they just make it, we're just going to make it Xbox exclusive only, and only have it on Xbox, I'm not going to go out and buy a Series X just to play one game.
No, I'm similar. I mean, I've always had a PlayStation. I've no interest in buying an Xbox. If it doesn't come out on PC, I'm probably not going to play it. I don't even have a PlayStation at the moment because, as you said, they're so hard to get to, and I probably won't until Horizon Forbidden West releases, which is next year, possibly late on this year, but probably next year. So I'm in no hurry to get one. But yeah, PlayStation, consoles, board games, TV. We've done everything. Obviously a few things coming, or a few things rumoured for TV. Is there anything you're particularly excited about?
I've not.
Millerverse.
I've not been keeping up to date. The only thing I'm looking actually forward to is Brooklyn Nine-Nine for season 8, because that's a fantastic show. Sad it's going to be the last season, but all good things must come to an end.
Yeah, I think they do it right. I think a lot of movies, you talked earlier on about rewatching Scrubs and stuff like this, and the Scrubs should have ended probably a couple of seasons before they did.
No, well, Scrubs was meant to end when it ended, but then they had that 9th season with the younger cast, but they only called it Scrubs to get the people to watch it. It was meant to originally be called like Med School, like Scrubs : Med School, instead of just being Scrubs. It was meant to be called something different so people wouldn't think, oh, it's just another season, but they just called it Scrubs to get people to watch it, which is why it didn't do as well. Yeah,
I think most shows have a life, and when major characters leave and things like this, or after 7 or 8 seasons, you've pretty much done it. The Office was exactly the same. The last season they had to introduce new people, and after people left and things like this. So I think most TV shows, 6 or 7 seasons is a good shelf life for a TV show. Anything that runs more than that, they tend to jump the shark a wee bit. This is just my opinion.
Well, it depends on what the thing. Like, I think shows like South Park can keep going forever until they get banned in every country, because their animation is so cheap, they can always keep up to date with current affairs.
That's right, and it's a satire, so they're relying on being current with things that are happening. Whereas like a drama show or a comedy like Scrubs, they've only got they didn't react to current affairs, so they're only really they're telling a story of the characters' lives.
Yeah.
And after a while, you have to start repeating yourself. I think in genre that we're in, things like Supernatural, which ran for 12 years, long. 13 years, something like that. Yeah, I think I stopped watching it about 5 or 6 years ago, after 7 seasons or something.
Yeah. Things I was meant to finish at 5, but the CW kept pushing for more seasons.
Yeah.
The story was finished at 5, and that's what the creator wanted.
That's right. And Eric Kripke, who was the creator, walked away after season 5. Anything after that wasn't part of what he would call the canon story that he did. There's Ian saying then you have shows like Firefly that wasn't allowed for more than one. Whoever made that decision deserves to be fired. Firefly forever.
Firefly got hit hard before it was even released, with everything being put out of order and the story not being consistent. So
they didn't know what they had.
That show was doomed before it even began, which is unfortunate.
It is, because it's probably the second best science fiction TV show ever made. Behind the one, which again, every week I'm saying the same things, but if you're not watching it, you should be. The Expanse.
Oh, Expanse is fantastic.
It's absolutely fantastic. Better than Star Trek, better than The Mandalorian. better than...
Oh, whoa! I wouldn't say.
Yeah,
Oh,
I've said it. I've done it.
better than Mandalorian.
I have. Yeah.
Oh, I think I should stop coming to the shop now with
We
you saying that.
We talked earlier on as well about you. You've not seen Aquaman because Aquaman. Boba Fett plays Aquaman's dad.
I don't care. It's Aquaman.
Aquaman's not lame. I would dare you
Aquaman
to
is
say to Jason Momoa's face.
That's different. I'm not going to say Jason Momoa can crush me with a finger.
Just by flexing.
Aquaman as a character is boring. Well, I'm going to talk to fish, guys. Talk to fish.
He does more than just talk to fish. But
sorry.
We've had this conversation.
I'm going to talk to fish with my fork.
You're just ridiculous. What's your say? Richard, I don't know if you've caught these ones because I don't know again what sort of subscriptions you've got, but the best DC show made is out there on Stars, and it's called Doom Patrol.
I didn't like the pilot-y thing they did with Doom Patrol in Titans.
Did you not?
Nah, so I haven't gone near it, and I didn't like Titans either.
So. Fair enough, Titans I thought was excellent as well. Doom Patrol is batshit crazy, but absolutely excellent. Fair enough. You've not lived until you spent half an hour just watching Robot Man say, "What the fuck?" It's just absolutely brilliant. Ian saying The Expanse is excellent. Thanks for getting me into that. Obviously, that's if I've just got one person into The Expanse, then my work is done.
Expanse is such a fantastic show.
For saying that about The Mandalorian. Lol, as you notice. The Mandalorian was excellent as well. The Expanse continues to be excellent. Only, I think, one more season of that. Which works. It's a 9-book series, but there's a natural end after the 7th book. In the 8th book, it's set 30 or 40 years later when the characters are much older. So, there's a natural end coming up to it.
That's good if they've got natural ends rather than just trying to cram everything at the end like a certain fantasy series.
Which, let's not talk about. Well, that goes back to what we were saying about shows which maybe either last too long or didn't do right. I'll say it. George R.R. Martin was totally responsible for how badly that finished.
I don't blame him for it because he's been writing books. He's writing like the same book for the past 40 years.
Yeah.
But it's the showrunners were given a Disney gig for Star Wars and rushed it, and it failed.
I don't know. I think for the first 5 or 6 seasons of Game of Thrones, they were working from the books.
Yeah.
And when they originally got the contract for it, they expected him to be finished the books by the time they'd done 6 or 7 seasons of it, so that they would have material to work with. And for it being 8 years later, no more material out. They're having to work from a synopsis rather than from the books.
Yeah, but even so, they could have done better that last season instead of just rushing it and jumping the shark and going all over the place.
It had massive problems. Maybe in 10 years they'll do a sort of soft reboot and redo the last 2 seasons with the books if they've come out. That's the.
Oh no, he's still writing he'll still be writing the next one in 10 years.
I get so wound up about him and Patrick Rothfuss, who's another one who's massively successful fantasy author, and he's been working on the same book for 10 years. If you're a fantasy fan, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It's crazy. But Star Wars, lots of good stuff coming. The Bad Batch.
I'm looking forward to that. Bad Batch. Yeah. That arc in Clone Wars was really good. I'm looking forward to that show.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of them at all, but obviously I just watched the because I've not seen Clone Wars, but I just watched the trailer for that the other day, and I thought that does look. Yeah. That looks like something I'm interested in seeing. New Mandalorian show, the Book of Boba Fett.
That's going to be interesting to see what they do.
Interesting coming to Obi-Wan Kenobi, the Kenobi show coming with Hayden Christensen coming back.
I didn't know he was coming back.
Yeah, he's coming back as Darth Vader.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know why they've obviously got a guy in, as Darth Vader in Rogue One.
Yeah.
So why they wouldn't use that guy? Because he's massive.
Oh yeah.
I met him at a convention last year or the year before. He plays one of the guy who plays Darth Vader. Also played one of the Night Kings in Game of Thrones. Just a truly massive 6'6" guy.
Unless using Christensen as flashbacks for 4 flashbacks.
Possibly.
Because it would be weird to have him in as Darth Vader when he can.
It's weird to have him in. I think. Does he even act anymore? I
don't think so.
I thought he worked in Spa or something like that. Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. He's probably less famous than the guy who played Anakin in Phantom Menace.
I'm pretty sure that boy's in prison.
Is he? Well, there you go.
I don't know. I just know he went through a really rough patch.
Okay.
And has got a dodgy couple of pictures online that looks like a mugshots.
All right. Okay. Fair enough. Then childhood stardom. It never works.
Well, it doesn't help that everyone hated his performance. Well, I say everyone. The diehard fans who live in their mother's basements hated his performance.
I did not ever live in my mother's basement. Attic, I'll have you know.
Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, I think it was the Phantom Menace, much like the modern trilogy. It's going to be some kid's favourite, just like Jar Jar Binks is going to be somebody's favourite character. If you were that age, it was for you. It wasn't for me. I was, I seen the original when it came out, and I didn't see the original in '77. I probably didn't see it till about 1980 when it came on ITV. But
yeah, I know what you mean.
I was that age, so it wasn't for me. And similarly, the new trilogy, pretty bad as it was by comparison.
The new trilogy is The Force Awakens was solid. Then they switched director for the second one and try and make it a comedy, which didn't work.
Yeah.
And then Paul Abrams had to go in with the third one and try and fix everything, which didn't work.
It felt like Abrams had written a script that encompassed the second movie as well. This is where I'm going with the story. And Rian Johnson just went, aye.
Yeah, I'll just do my own thing and we'll make some jokes.
Yeah, and we'll make some jokes and we'll get a chase scene in and things like this. I went to that was the movie I went to see with you, obviously. Yeah. It was midnight showing. That's why I'll never do a midnight showing for a Star Wars movie ever again.
I don't blame you.
It was pretty bad. And I don't think the Rise of Skywalker did that much to bring it back. I think that was pretty well.
Rise of Skywalker had too much to fix, so I think they just tried to salvage as much as they could.
Yeah. And then let's I think what they're doing now is just absolutely like, let's just move away from the Skywalkers, move away from the massive Empire sort of stories and do smaller stories.
Which works. I mean, they've told the big story, the overarching story over the past 40 years. So now it's just focus on the smaller stuff, focus on the things that people would like to see more.
Do you know what? What's most frustrating for me is that they brought in. I mean, J.J. Abrams, I think, was brilliant in Star Trek, and his first movie was brilliant. Well, it was good, solid, like you say. In Force Awakens, they wanted somebody to be the sort of driving force behind the Star Wars movies and things like this. Dave Filoni is right there. He's got all that experience in the Clone Wars. Why didn't they just go with? And Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau now are sort of the masterminds behind the TV universe, and it's all been brilliant. Why did they not just go with him?
Probably because Filoni was busy with Clone Wars and getting that all sorted.
Yeah,
it could be any number of reasons, but we can only speculate and complain.
He should have waited. He had an understanding of the source material. He would have done a better job. Let's give Dave Filoni a trilogy. That's what I say. And Jon Favreau, if they've got time. So, yeah. Okay, well, that's us getting on for coming up for the hour. Thanks very much for coming on.
That's no problem. That was fast.
It is. What time you get? I always get sidetracked as well, and I always bring up the same thing and stuff like this. Quite surprised. I don't know what's happened tonight. Usually, John Bruce comes on and mentions the Bunty at some point, but obviously he's got something better to do with his time this evening. As always, the video for this, if you haven't seen it, the video will be available on my YouTube channel from tomorrow. If you've not already, get on there, throw me a like and subscribe. Helps my numbers. You don't have to watch it, although that would be excellent as well. Trying to push up the numbers on there. And next week, yes, John, you did miss the Bunty chat. I thought you weren't on there for the change, mate. Next week, we've got Michael Philpon, who's a local lad. He's an artist. He's done some comic work. We talked earlier on there about creating new comics and stuff like that. So he's a local comic creator. And a general nice guy. So we'll be on talking about his work and the comic he's worked on, and the comics that is influenced him, and the TV shows and things like that. Basically the same things as we discuss every week. So thanks everybody for getting involved. Thanks to Daniel, and I'll be back again next week. See you later, guys.
Catch you later.
Cheers.
Bye.